We will start in a bit and we will start with module 6. Some part we had discussed in the last class and remaining we will discuss today. Hopefully it will be completed by today or in the upcoming class Thursday. Okay. Um, we'll wait for 1 2 minutes, then we'll start. So, any doubt up till now in any topic or in any question? Two, three questions students have asked. So, I am going to discuss those questions in Thursday's class. So, Thursday class would be revision class. So, please go through every topic or any tutored question you are having doubt in. So, on Thursday, I will be taking your problems. Okay. Okay, so module 6. So we had discussed about sum rule and product rule in the last class. So we have there is some issue with the mic. I think it's resolved now. I'm audible now.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Okay, so we had discussed the sum rule in the last class, sum rule, product rule. Okay, so we had discussed this already. Okay. So complex problems. So example given to you was based on sum rule and based on product rule. Now this question, in this question, you will be utilizing both the sum rule as well as the product rule. So question given to you, count the number of ways to put things together into various combinations. So if a password is 6 or 7 or 8 character long, you have to find out what are the possibilities. Uh, okay, someone is saying something. Okay. P is equals to P6 plus P7 plus P8 means 6 digit password or 7 digit password or all the possible combinations of 8 digit password. So P is equals to all the possible. So this is some rule. So either password would be 6 digit long or it would be 7 or it would be 8 digit long, right? And for calculating this 6 digit long password, you will use product rule. Like, so for first position, you have 36 characters. Then for second position, you have 36 characters and so on. So 36 into 36 into 36 and so on, right? So this would be, P6 would be calculated using product rule and then you will add using sum rule. So this is a combination of product as well as sum rule. Now, another example, consider a wedding picture of 6 people. There are 10 people, including the bride and the groom. So, how many possibilities are there if the bride must be in the picture? So, one person is fixed, which is bride, and groom can be there or cannot be there. So, it's not fixed. Only one bride is fixed. Okay. And in the picture, there are 6 places. 6 people can come out of 10. So, you have 10 possibilities. Now, how you will? What are the final answer? How many possible combinations are there? So first, place a bride. So bride can be in one of the 6 positions, right? So you have 6 people in the picture. So in either of the positions, so one position is fixed, which is, let's say, bride. So bride has possible 6 options. Now for the remaining 5 options, because out of 10, 9 people are already selected. Sorry, one person is already selected, which is bride. Okay. So what are the possible choices? 9 possible choices for this place, 8 possible choices for remaining persons, right? For the remaining 7 people can be here, remaining 6 people can be here, 5 can be here. So what is the final answer? 6 into 9 into 8 into 7 into 6 into 5. So this is your final possibilities. Okay. Similarly, wedding pictures, a question is given. How many possibilities are there if bride and groom both must be in there? So what would be the answer? So 6 possibilities for bride, then 5 possibilities for 5 possible positions for groom, right? Then eight, because remaining 8 people, right? 8 into 7 into 6 into 5, right? This is clear. So this is your final answer. This into 5 into 630, right? Uh, so I think this is clear to everyone. If you have any doubt, just stop me right away. Okay. Now, next is inclusion exclusion principle, which says we have seen the sum rule. Like if you have possible choices, you will do or A or B. So either you can select 36 or you can select 20, right? We have seen the initial example. Now, what if there are some common items in the 36 that you have selected and in the 20 you have selected? So that would be selected twice. So you need to subtract once the common items in A1 and A2. So this is called the inclusion exclusion principle. Example, how many bit strings of length 8 start with 1 or and with 0 0? Now, suppose bit string is starting with 1 and some bit strings are ending with 0 0, but there are some common bit strings which are starting with 1 and which are ending with 0 0. So you need to subtract it, because that will be counted in bit string started with 1, as well as it will be counted along with bit strings ending with 0 0, right? So you need to subtract it. So can you calculate this? So can you tell me how many bit strings of length 8 that are starting with 1? So you have 8 positions, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now this position is fixed. So how many possible combinations of bit strings starting with 1? How many possible combinations? How many possible choices over here? Anyone? 10?
Yes, ma'am.
10. And how many possible choices in second position? Third, sorry.
Ma'am, 10.
10. So 10 into 10 into 10 up to
Ma'am, last two, 1 into 1.
10 to the power 7.
10 to the power 6, 5.
10
Ma'am,
to the
last power
mhm.
5.
10 to the power 7, because first position is fixed and length is 8, right? So,
Ma'am, but last two is ended with 0 0.
no, no, no. I am asking only bit strings that are starting with 1.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so sorry, bit. So it is 0 and 1. So that would be two possible choices. Two possible choices. So that would be 2 to the power 7. Now, how many bit strings that only end with 0 0? So that would be this 0 0 is fixed. So 2 to the power 6, right? Okay, so we are just counting the only one thing. We are going to use inclusion and exclusion principle. Now, this is the number of bit strings starting with one, and this is the number of bit strings ending with 0 0. Now, you have to count the bit strings which are both starting with one as well as ending with 0 0. So, how many would be there? So, these three positions are fixed. So, this position, and this. These three are fixed. Remaining is five. So that would be 2 to the power 5. Okay, now using inclusion and exclusion principle, A in A1 intersection A2 is given, A2 is given, A1 is given. You can calculate how many strings that are start with 1 or end with 0 0. So you can do that. So A1 union A2 is equals to A1 plus A2 minus A intersection A2. This is clear why we are using inclusion and exclusion principle, because we have common something that is common in A1 that is also in A2. And what are that? Bit strings that are both starting with 1 as well as ending with 0 0. So those bit strings are counted here as well as here twice, right? So we want to subtract it once. Okay. Example is clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So final answer is this. Now, tree diagram. So it is one of the most effective ways to calculate the number of possible choices. So when you are not sure what to do, use tree diagram, I suggest. Okay. So example is given to you. How many bit strings of length 4 that do not have two consecutive ones? Now, first bit string, so 4 bit string, 4 length string is there. So first possibility, either you can select first bit can be either 1 or it can be 0. Now second bit can be 0 or 1, but because it was, if it was 1, second bit cannot be 1, right? So you can only have 0. So if it was 1, you cannot have consecutive 1, you have only one possible choice. But if it was 0, you had two possible choices, which was 0 as well as 1, right? Now, for second position, this is done. Now for third position, now if previous was 1, so in third position this was 1, so next possibility was only 0, but if it was 0, you can go with 0 as well as 1, 0 as well as 1. Now similarly for fourth bit, you have 1 over here, so you can have only one possibility, you have 1 over here. So and how many total possible combinations? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So 8 possible combinations. 1 0 1 0 1 0. So every path represent one possible choice. 1 0 0 0 0 1. Okay. So this is clear. Similarly, you have another question example is given to you. Now there are two teams. Okay. So either team one, so they will play 5 games. Okay. 5 games they will play. Now first either one will win or second team would win. Either first team would win or second team would win. Okay. Now in second place also either first team would win or second. Now if 3 times one is winning, that means one is won the playoff. Team one won. No need to play the 2 games, right? So this is what is represented using tree. Now suppose first game was played and team one won. Okay, and now either team one can won, two possibilities, or team two can won. Suppose team two won. Now another second game was played. So for second game, let's say team one won, or let's say team two won. Okay. Now third game was played. Now in third game, if team two won, that means playoff is already won by team two. No need to play other 2 games. Okay. Now if team one won, you need to play one more game. So two won, and one won. Now you need to play another game. Now what will happen? if team 2 again won, so you will play another game, because here team 1 was winning. Now you will play another game. If team 2 won, in that case team 2 is the winner. If 1 is winning, you need to play last game also. So if team 1 was winning, you need to play last game, and then last game will decide whether team 1 will win or team 2 will win. So this graph represents all the possible combinations, and a number of final leaves will decide the possibilities. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 21, I think. So total 21 possibilities are there, possible combinations, and out of which you can calculate in how many games team 2 is winning and how many possible combinations team 1 is winning. Okay. Similarly, you have another example. So this is just a tree diagram, which makes your calculations a bit easier, representations a bit easier. Now let's move on to next lecture, which is your binomial coefficient. So I hope this tree diagram is clear to everyone. Okay, if you have any doubt, just stop me right away. Okay. Okay, so combinations, permutations and combinations you have already studied in maths, but here you are just, I'm just going to give you a quick overview of combinations. So NCR, you can write it as N bracket R, and this means N factorial by R factorial into N minus R factorial. Now, binomial coefficient. So, the numbers NCR are called binomial coefficients. When you open this up, and this position, these numbers are called coefficients. Okay, coefficients of the numbers that you are expanding. Okay, expansion, in the expansion of a plus b, these NCR are called the binomial coefficients. Now let's have a look at Pascal triangle. So what is a Pascal triangle? So coefficients of the successive powers of a plus b can be arranged in a triangular array of numbers that is called the Pascal triangle. We will see how this arrangement is done. So if you arrange some coefficients, okay, in the form of a triangle, you will say it is a Pascal triangle. Okay. Now there are two interesting properties. This is very, very important. First and last number in each row. So this is first row, this should be 1. In every row, first number and last number should be 1. Okay. And every other number is obtained by adding the two numbers appearing above it. So this and this, if you sum this and this, you will calculate that a number between below, in the below row. Okay, we will see how. So these are the two interesting properties. Let's see. Okay, so first and last number in each row is 1. Okay, and every number in the next row, this 2 is obtained by adding this 1 plus 1. This 3 is obtained by adding 1 plus 2. This 3 is obtained by adding 1 plus 2, and so on. The 6 is obtained by adding 3 plus 3. So every number is obtained by adding the numbers above it. Okay, this is called a Pascal triangle. Now, if you have a look at the coefficients, so a plus b, if you do 1 plus 1 to the power 0, you will get 1. 1 plus 1 to the power 1, you will get 1 plus 1. 1 plus 1, right? So that is 1 plus 1. Now, if you do 1 plus 1 whole square, 1 plus 1 square is 1 plus 1 square. What it is? This is 4, right? So this is a square plus 2ab plus b square. Now if we have a look at over here, so this is 1 plus 2ab is 2 into 1 into 1, 2, and then 1 square is 1. So 1 plus 2 plus 1. So this is also 4. So all the coefficients of numbers 1, 2 and 1, basically 1, its coefficient is 1, its coefficient is 2 and its coefficient is 1. So everything is represented over here. Now its coefficient is 1, its coefficient is 3, its coefficient is 3 and 1. So you will see 1, 3, 3, 1. Okay. So all the coefficients are represented in a Pascal triangle. So this is the representation of a Pascal triangle. Now another theorem that is given to you is n plus 1 CR. Combination of this is equals to n CR minus 1 plus NCR. So this is just a formula, and we will see how we can prove it. So question, so pick out the right hand side, n r minus 1 plus ncr. Now open this up, n factorial by r minus 1 factorial into n minus r plus 1 factorial, and right hand side would be n factorial by r factorial into n minus r factorial. Now what we want to do is we want to make the denominator same. Okay, so we will multiply by r above and down, so this would become r factorial. Okay, so this is, we have multiplied by r from here and here, and in this we have multiplied by n minus r plus 1. So this term would become n minus r plus 1 factorial, and this term would become r factorial. So denominator would become same. Okay. Now denominator is same, so we can add above numerator part. So r into n factorial plus n minus r plus 1 factorial. Now take n factorial common and cancel this r out. You will get n plus 1 factorial in the uh, numerator. So that is, and final formula that you got is n plus 1 CR, which is your left hand side. Okay. Example is, you can either calculate this, you will get the same answer that we have already proved. Okay, so that's all for today. So last lecture is pigeonhole principle, which is we can cover in the next class, which is very quick, and this all will be covered in your T2 exams. Okay, so any doubt in any topic in today's class, you can ask. I will upload the recording soon. By today only, you can go through them. I have already uploaded the PPTs. You can go through them also. And on Thursday, I'll take your problems. Please just revise everything, and you can ask any doubt in the Thursday's class. Plus, I will discuss pigeonhole principle, which is the last lecture of module 6.